Shalom. First and foremost, like give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and his only Son Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kadash Holy Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Ma'akof, and I say Shalom. And this is a prophecy updates as of March the 7th, I meant to say, 2026, on this Saturday night. And this is a news articles from RT.com. It says U.S. approves emergency sales to heavy bombs to Israel. Right, because they bypassed Congress. Hey, Nero 47, he's that Isaiah 19 verse 4, he's that cruel Lord. He's that fierce king, that cruel Lord. Yep, bypass Congress. Just automatically went on ahead and approved the sale to Israel. Right, at the same time, we're seeing the tensions are only going to escalate between, the Israel Defense Force versus Iran. It says Trump denies responsibility for the deadly school attack. It says Israel bombs Iran's oil field. Live updates. Check out some live updates. It says the Israel Defense Force struck an Iranian oil facility and targets in Lebanon as Iran launched additional drones and missiles towards the Gulf states that the U.S. hosts U.S. bases. Meanwhile, the president of Iran vows that Tehran would never surrender to the United States and Israel, but apologized to neighboring Gulf states. He stressed that Tehran is targeting U.S. military sites located in the Arab countries. It says the president denied the responsibility for the attack. Right, because I believe, what was that, yesterday? It was another school attack on Iran once again. It was like one person was unalive and 9 were injured. Most likely, it had to be the Israel Defense Force. Might have had did that for the second time, potentially. Because, you can blame it on the Israel Defense Force because they have been doing some heavy airstrike campaigns against Iran, especially over there in Tehran and different parts over there in Iran. All 1044 call Halal Yabashmasha. So this is definitely going to stir up once again more intensity between Iran and the Israel Defense Force, because these are two arch enemies, arch nemesis, arch enemies, Israel versus Iran. It says explosions were heard in Tehran after a footage shows a capital airport in flames. Israel announced that it has used more than 80 fighter jets to carry out a broad-scale wave attacks on Iran, while it says air defense intercepted multiple waves of Iranian attacks, and at least 41 people have been unalived by the Israeli air and ground raids in the town of Nabid Cape in Bakhmut Valley in eastern Lebanon. The IRGC, which is the Iranian Guard Corps, has warned that all U.S. Israel military bases and injuries will be considered primary targets if the attacks on Iran continue, which it is going to continue, because you had Nero 47 mentioned yesterday on his social media platform that he's going to continue to hit Iran hard. So that shows right there, if that's the case, So you're definitely going to have the pro-Iranian groups once again continue to use heavy air strikes and drone strikes and missile attacks on those military bases over there in Iraq and over there in Arab countries, with the U.S. injuries where they had their military bases over there. So this is like the 8th day ever since last Saturday, when it first started off with the campaign airstrikes from the Israel Defense Force, the United States versus Iran. So ever since then, other countries been a tag team in this wars war too. So it's definitely heating up throughout the Middle East, the Gulf states, in different parts, in Western Asia. It says a high-rise headquarters in Kuwait pensions fund in Kuwait City has been hit by a drone, according to the Bloomberg. The outlet cited local media saying that the UAV also struck a fuel deposit at an airport. It says the Iranian Islamic Guard Corps (IRGC) said it has carried out a new waves of strikes against U.S. military sites in the region, including the Camp Air Forjan, the Ali Halisham Air Base in Kuwait.
They hit the base of it. It knocked the lights out on that motherfucker.
It's still standing?
Yeah.
That thing's fucking
I got it.
Jake said, Jake in the background said, like the lights out of that motherfucker. It says the U.S. President Donald Trump intends a identified transfer to 6 Americans unalive in a drone attack in Kuwait. The 6 service members will only confirm U.S. casualties in the war with Iran. It says loud explosions near a embassy in Oslo, Norway, around 1 a.m. It says a video reportedly shows the aftermath of an Israeli strike on Iran's oil facilities. At least 2 people were unalive in a strike in Ramadalia hotel in central Beirut of Lebanon. It says Reuters reported Sunday, citing that a security source's Lebanese media outlet blames Israel for the attack. It says that same night, the Iranian drone reportedly struck a Halitet hotel in Bahrain. And it says the Israel Defense Force spokesperson, Brigadier General Aviv Devan, said that Israel has carried out more than 3,400 strikes in Iran since February 28th, dropping around 7,500 Russians. The Defan said that the IDF has disabled more than 150 Iranian air defense systems. He added that Israel has carried out 600 strikes against Hezbollah, linking targets in Lebanon over the past 4 days. The Iranian president has apologized to the countries affected by the Iranian retaliation strikes against U.S. military sites. I must apologize on my behalf. I mean, at least I give it to him, because this Trump and his administration, they don't apologize for nothing. they heartless, they relentless, they heartless. Hey, what's that Kanye West song? How you be so heartless? Hey, that's how this current administration of the United States and the Israel Defense Force, they heartless. I mean, at least I give it to from the Iranian side. At least they apologize. Because their main target was the military bases, interests over there, different places like over there in Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and all those Arab country places that they mostly primarily target the U.S. military bases and military bases over there in the Golan Heights and over there in, I would say, Israel, Syria and all those places. The president reiterated on X that the Iran's view on U.S. bases are legitimate targets. We have not attacked our friendly and neighboring countries. Instead, we have targeted U.S. military bases and facilities and installations in the region, he wrote. Americans thought Iran would be like Venezuela. I was thinking the same thing as well too. I'm like, even though, Iran took some heavy losses, from previous years. I would say back in 20, about 3 years ago, about like a couple of years ago, and as of recently, once again. Now, despite the fact they might take heavy hits, but they're not like Venezuela. They different from Venezuela. So this is not Venezuela. This is our, this is Iran. It says Americans thought Iran would be like Venezuela, but instead they got struck and created chaos in the Middle East. Iranian top security officials Ali Lajani has told the Mirror News some American soldiers have been captured in certain countries in the region. But I believe the United States had denied that report. It says that he also claimed that, adding that there are more than 5 or 6 Americans unalive. I can believe that. It says the Israeli police officers clash with and arrest protesters during an anti-war protest. Because I believe over there in New York, you had some type of anti-Muslim protest or something like that. That's what what's that, Luke 21 verse 25. The stress of nations will perplex you, rich warring. And that scripture says in the book of the Apocryphal books, 2nd Esdras 9 verse 3, there should be seen earthquakes in the uproars people world. So that's what we see. Yep, since I mentioned that. It's the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth the disgressive nations will perplex seabirds born. Right, so that's what we're seeing. Modern day disgressive nations will perplex seabirds born. So bring out that 2nd Esdras, which I quoted. It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9 verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, uproars, people world. Right, so we're seeing increasing earthquakes in the uproars, people world, and particularly the uproars, people world. U.S. embassies getting attacked by Shiite Muslims, Pakistanians for the past couple of days, and as of recently, you got these anti-Muslim protests, anti-war protests. So we definitely seeing the uproars in the people in the world from both sides. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 15. For the sword, the discretion draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in hands. Right, so one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in hands. That's what we're seeing. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes. And of course, acts stand in power. Right, with these anti-war protests, both sides clash against one another. These nations are attacking U.S. embassies. So that shows that we see in the uproars of people in the world, and we see in sedition among men. And this is St. Mark. Matter of fact, Ecclesiasticus. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time and every purpose in heaven. Right, so we're living these modern day times of seasons, every purpose in heaven, which is modern day biblical times of the signs of times. Verse 2. And a time to be born, and a time to die, and a time to plant, and a time to pluck up the which is planted. Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 3, and a time to kill, and a time to heal, and a time to break down, and a time to build up. Verse 4, and a time to weep, and a time to laugh, and a time to mourn, and a time to dance. Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 5 and reads, and a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, and a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. Verse 6, and a time to get, and a time to lose, and a time to keep, and a time to cast away. Verse 7, and a time to rent, and a time to sow, and a time to keep silent, and a time to speak. Right, because prophecies are speaking. That's why it says in the book of Habakkuk 2 verse 3, for the vision is shed from the point of time, but they ain't shall speak, not lie, tarry, wait for it, because it will come, not tarry. Right, because these prophecies are not tarrying, they are increasing. Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 8, in a time to love, in a time of HATE, in a time of war, time of peace. Right, so we're definitely living in a time of HATE, and we're living in a time of war. That's something that will continue to increase. Let's check out the news now.
We get two. I think we probably can find a way to secure that. We get the number one. Anderson down the other way. BYU.
It says, that was 3 days ago. It says, Russia strikes on Kharkiv resident building. It says, unalive at least 10 Ukrainians, says Radio Free Europe. Right, so we still seeing tensions heating up between the Russia-Ukraine situation on a day-to-day basis. That's another sign of wars and rumors of wars. It says Kuwait forces Niger cuts crude oil output due to the Middle East conflict. Right, because ever since this war was going on between these countries, the gas prices been going up, prices been going up and stuff like that too. Importing, exporting goods had to reroute and over there in the Persian Gulf, in the Hormuz region over there in that region. It says Ukraine used about 700 Patriot missiles over the winter amid a global shortages, the EU reports. It says a TML learns Houthis ordered medical staff to sign war readiness plea weeks before. It says the Iranian attacks on critical missile defense radars are a wake-up call from the war zone reports. A new wave of strikes hits Tehran as Netanyahu vows many surprises for the next phase of Iranian war. Lebanon dragged back into turmoil, UN envoy warns. It says Ukraine forces halt advance in the Zaporizhia, Kadi says from the Washington Post. It says the IDF ramp up attacks in Lebanon, 294 unalive from ABC News. Yep, wars and commotions. It says Trump says hatred between Putin and Zelensky blocking Ukraine peace. Hey, what's that? First Thessalonians. Yep, this is the book of First Thessalonians. Hey, there is no peace to the wicked, thus saith Yahweh Shemashah as well too. And this is First Thessalonians chapter 5. Yep, First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. But when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them as if every child shall not escape. Right, because prophecies they still gonna come to pass be fulfilled. So you got these modern day armies of nations trying to create a peace deal, ceasefire deal, but you're still gonna have high tension heating up between these nations. And this is what Nero 47 said. What's he said again? It says Fox News reports Trump says that the hatred between Putin and Zelensky blocking peace. What's that? Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter. For it is a time and season, every purpose of heaven. Hey, we're living in a time of war. Hey, so there's going to be very soon. There's not going to be no peace between these nations. They continue to clash out against one another. And, a war against Iran enter its week 2. It says Trump announces military coalition to take care of the cartels in Latin America. Yep, wars and people in the world. It says meet Manjalbal Kamali, a hardliner with the IRGC ties, likely Iran's next supreme leader. And I believe Trump was mentioning, the Trump administration, that it was a report yesterday. I think it was from RT.com. He was saying that the Trump administration, that he doesn't want the former Supreme Leader's son to potentially might be the next Supreme Leader. Because from RT.com, last time I checked, like a couple of hours ago, I think they said Iran was going to make an announcement in the next 24 hours with their new Supreme Leader. So we're going to see how this plays out. And if the United States trying to get involved in that, so we'll see what happens. But most likely, Iran is not going to let that happen because, I mean, they have a right to what they want to do in their own country. I mean, think about it. Now, if it was the other way around, if you had some other country was trying to tell the United States what to do in their country, they'll have a fit. They'll be in an uproar. And that's a modern day of Babylon for you. Esau and modern day Babylon for you. Meddling other people's affairs in their own businesses, It says, he said Trump is acting out of desperation on Iran foreign policy, expert reports. It says Russia masses troops for new offense near the Perkolovis in Minograd. The Ukraine military has said, right, that's another sign, wars and rumors of wars. It says, this is from the Miami Herald. It says Trump vows to hit Iran harder. Hey, I won't be surprised. Iran hit them harder as well, too. In the pro-Iranian groups. Hey, so they're going to be hitting each other very hard. It says, this is from Time magazine. It says gas prices soars in U.S. as Iran war chokes global oil supplies. What we need to know. Israel strangles West Bank amending war on Iran.
Folks, our next ABC NBA doubleheader features three of the top four teams in the East. Jason Tatum, fresh off the double-double in his return to the Celtics.
This is the book of Luke 21 and verse 10. Then see, it says Luke 21 verse 10 reads, and say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation. And it says, then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Right, so we see nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. It's only going to continue to increase. Go up a verse. It says, but when ye shall hear of wars and emotions, be not terrified for these things. This must first come to pass, but the end is not by end by. Right, so Yahushua says it's going to come to pass, but not going to end, just end by end by. It's like we've been seeing tensions heating up over there in the Mediterranean Sea. We got the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. You got Great Britain, the Israel Defense Force, the United States, going against the Hezbollah, going against the Houthi rebels. You have the Houthi rebels, they're going to continue to use their campaign defense against the Israel Defense Force and the United States Army and their allies versus them. And then you're going to have the rebel groups, the proxy groups, and the pro-Iranian groups, the Dragons of Arabia, Elam, and all them. Going to be teaming up against the Israel Defense Force. And the United States armies throughout Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza Strip, West Bank, Palestinian territory, different parts of those Arab countries, the Gulf region. And you're going to have tensions heating up throughout that whole region. The United States armies, the Israel Defense Force versus the Iran and the pro-Iranian groups. This is the book of Revelations. Then I'm going to close it out. This is Revelations 9 and verse 12, and it reads to the Holy Scriptures. It says, the one woe passed, behold, the two woes, more thereafter. Right, so the one woe, and behold, the two woes, more thereafter. I'm going to look up the definition of woe. And that's why you're seeing that Luke 21 verse 25 is in progress as we're speaking. The stress of nations will perplex you ready one. Yep, woe, great sorrows or distress. Right, that's what we're seeing among the nations, great sorrow and distress. Yep, Revelations 9 and verse 12. One woe passed, and behold, the two woes thereafter. This is Revelations 11 verse 14. The second woe passed, behold, the third woe coming quickly. Right, so the second woe passed, behold, the third woe coming quickly. Armageddon, Armageddon 1. So with that, hopefully this so hopefully this prophecy updates was edifying as of March the 7th, 2026 on this Saturday night. Saturday night, March the 7th, 2026. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh and His own begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashwalash, the Holy Tongue. And I say Barakathum to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Wa'akwa. Until next time, I would say Shalom.